The Playhouse at Westport Plaza, next on City Corner. I'm Sarah Thompson, and welcome to City Corner. An exciting theatrical season is planned at the Playhouse at Westport Plaza, and we're going to get into all the details for the 2017-18 season. I'm joined by Paul Emery of Emery Entertainment. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me, Sarah.
I was saying you're kind of one of those people where I feel like I'm going to laugh throughout this entire.
I think
we're
you
going to have
should.
so
Let's
much
just get
fun.
it started and have some fun.
Have so much fun. So this is really, really exciting. You know, I kind of want to, before we get into the full details and all the shows that you have lined up, from just the clarity standpoint, someone like me who grew up in St. Louis, they remember Westport Playhouse and memories from this, but this is 2017, and this is like a whole new deal. And if you could just kind of set the stage very briefly for people who might be remembering from back in the day.
Well, the Westport Playhouse, the original one was in the round. It was one of those stages that spun, you know, and a lot of people remember that, although it's not been active for 15 years, basically. Yeah. But so many of the shows that took place on that stage, that no longer exists anymore. And upstairs on the upper level next to the Drunken Fish restaurant is now the new Playhouse, which is not in the round. It's a front of stage. It's the real legitimate Playhouse. And, you know, that's what's been there since 2005.
2005. We've got a picture of that, and we'll kind of bring that up on set. And so that's the venue, and people go in. How many seats is the theater?
It's 242 seats to be exact, and it's intimate. And you know, we always like to say every seat's the front row seat. It's, you know, you can't sit in a bad seat, and it's great. You feel like you're right in the show. Yes,
and for the intimate experience, and we're looking at it's a beautiful photo. Looking at a photo right there, and you've got the grand doors and everything. So we've got the season coming up. You actually have one show going on right now,
we do.
Church Basement Ladies, and that's running through October 1st. This is, again, something I think we're going to laugh about. Tell me about this production.
It's been running for 10 straight years in Minneapolis. It's a hit in its own, but it has to do with you know, the ladies that operate the church kitchens for all the functions, and you know, and all the craziness that goes on behind the scenes. They're cooking, they're cleaning, they're doing stuff, all kinds of things for weddings and funerals and you name it. And these ladies have a very fun and wild side to them. And you wouldn't think that in the church basement, but it's hilarious. When I saw the show in Minneapolis, I said, we got to get that to St. Louis.
Yeah, I think it too resonates with people. I think for anyone who goes to church.
Who grew up in it, yes, absolutely.
Right, it resonates to them because there's always, you know, what they always say about church. There's sort of like the experience of going to church, but then there's like, you know, church folk, as they say.
Well, and they're not poking fun at church. It's really what goes on, you know, and the hilarious antics that go on when these ladies are preparing for a function, and it's great. It's very entertaining. It's that, you know, Andy Griffith kind of you know, crazy stuff going on in the neighborhood. But you know, it's also based on the Missouri Synod Lutheran Church, which is headquartered here in St. Louis. So the books that were written was called Growing Up Lutheran.
Okay.
And while, you know, the show itself is across all denominations, but you know, if you've been around any of that, where you went to a function at your church, you know exactly what this show is, and it's hilarious.
That's fantastic. That's great. And then when we get into the actual season, the 2017-18 season, you kind of have, right now, you've got your subscription packages going on sale. So how is that broken down?
We have two different series that we're offering this year. Our main off-Broadway series, which consists of 4 key shows throughout the season. And then we have a new program called the Artist Lounge Live series, which is it's the first of its kind, and we are part of the front end of inventing it with Michael Ingersoll out of Chicago. I think it's going to be fantastic. So if you like the kind of stuff like Jersey Boys and $1 Million Quartet and Under the Street Lamp, you know, it's nostalgic, it's great, but it's really different, and you know, it's a fabulous show.
Got it. And so that falls into those categories. Subscriptions are on sale. And then when do single tickets go on sale?
Single tickets go on sale August 19.
August 19.
Yep.
All right, well, let's talk about all these tickets that we're talking about the tickets. Now, what you can actually see. So we start off the season with Shakespeare. I told you we're going to laugh this whole time. So Shakespeare.
And you will if you go.
Obviously, that's a play on Shakespeare. We've got some photos for that.
It's Shakespeare with a little drinking involved. And we actually brought the show in last year for a weekend, and it was insanely great.
Yeah.
We, as a staff, everyone that was involved with the show, we had more fun with the show. And if you think Shakespeare is boring, think again.
So we're looking, for example, at a picture here where, I assume one of the lead actresses, she's holding a shot glass. What is it actually about then?
Well, it's actually, the show they'll be doing is Romeo and Juliet, and they're trained Shakespearean actors.
Got it.
So they do the real deal. Only the thing is, they throw in a little alcohol, which tends to make the script go a little wayward, as it does with the audience. The audience is involved too, and they hide 3 signs under a particular seat in the house, and if it's under your seat and you pull it out and throw it up, it says Shakespeare. The cast literally freezes in the scene. They all walk over, do shots, and go right back to the scene and pick it up where they left off.
Really?
That's just the start. There's many more opportunities to get crazy, and it literally was the most hysterical show we put in the Playhouse last year.
I can imagine. Where's the show from? Who created this?
The show is actually from Las Vegas, and there's a
Okay.
handful of guys that, there's some key people involved, but like I said, they're all trained Shakespearean actors. And
it's a nice spin on it. That's really interesting.
oh, it's fascinating.
Sure
it's not lighthearted.
Right.
It's full on. And the crowds that came out last year, I'm telling you, they were like, bring it back, bring it back. So
here
we're bringing it back.
Here it is. All right, so Defending the Caveman, and I have to apologize on my side that I don't have the photos for this one, but I want to know more about it.
Well, Defending the Caveman actually ran on Broadway.
Okay.
It set the record for the longest single actor Broadway show in the history of Broadway. So it ran for over one man show, and it's based on the Battle of the Sexes, and it's funny. It is real funny. And if you and your significant other come out, and it's a lot of elbow ribbing all night long, like that's you, honey, that's you. But it is what it is. It's defending the man in the process. But it's pretty funny stuff. And again, it ran for 3 years on Broadway, and it was a huge hit. And since then, it's been touring. We've brought it into the Playhouse before. People love it. It's a go-to winner.
Yeah.
So it's a great date night show. We loved it, and we enjoy having it back.
That's great. No, and I love where this is kind of going, which is just like pure entertainment, pure fun, just theatrical, literally theatrical fun and energy in this intimate space. We're going to shift kind of gears to the musical back, what you mentioned earlier, Elvis, My Way. That's November 2nd through the 5th.
Correct. And that's the first show of the series of the Artist Lounge Live series. It's great. It's with a full band. It's they got the stand-up bass player, the full band. But it's nostalgia in its finest, because if you love Elvis, you're going to feel like you just saw him live.
And so this is Brandon Bennett, and he looks just like Elvis.
Well, he was Elvis in the $1 Million Quartet, the cast out of Chicago. The guy is terrific. So now he goes, he's and he sounds like him. It's crazy good. So if you love Elvis, and who doesn't, it's a must see.
And so how long for the musical performances that fall under the Artist Lounge series? Are they 2 hours? Are they shorter?
They're about 90 minutes.
90 minutes?
Yep, yep.
And do all the performances have intermissions, or?
They do.
It varies?
They do.
Oh, they do?
Everybody needs a potty break, right?
Well, I guess you're laughing
even
so much.
Elvis might need one, so it's like, gotta go.
Yeah. This is good. And then we have Disenchanted. Disenchanted is November 7th through the 12th, so that's right after your Elvis My Way.
This is an adult show. Leave the kids at home.
Okay.
It is about the Disney princesses that we're not quite so enchanted about the way they're being represented out there. Love is not a bowl of cherries in their mind. So it is fun. It's twisted humor, and there you go. It's they kind of say it like it really is.
So that's like Snow White, I see.
Oh yeah, it's many of the Disney princesses, and they're portrayed in ways that you will relate to, but it's not the way it was talked about
Yeah.
in the storybook lines.
So is this
but-
one of those things when you said leave the kids at home, where it's like the language and the scenarios that they're talking
and
about?
the topical, yes,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's adult humor.
So is this like a girls' night out kind of performance?
You know,
or,
actually, it's a 50-50.
Is
It's
it?
if you love Disney, you're going to love this show because I'm telling you, I saw it 3 times and I love it every time.
Right.
It's pretty darn funny.
You're like, if you have kids
it's
and
knee
you've seen
slapping
Disney,
stuff.
is it?
Exactly. This is not the Disney you bring your kids to.
Right.
Absolutely not.
But when you're watching Disney with your kids, that other train of thought that's running, this
exactly,
is
like
kind
it
of
doesn't
applies
really
to
go that way.
All
Yeah,
right, so
no.
let's move into kind of a Christmas themed one. So as we get closer to
Yes.
December, Sisters Christmas Catechism.
That's a mouthful, isn't it?
And there's more to it, but I'm not even
Yeah,
going to
don't
try
even go
and
there.
say it, right?
You know, basically, for all those who know late night catechism,
Mm-hmm.
it's late night catechism with a Christmas twist.
Okay.
So it opens up the Christmas season for us. It opens the day after Thanksgiving, and it runs for I think 10 nights. And it's the late night catechism show on Christmas.
Got it.
And it's pretty funny stuff too. I mean, it pushes the envelope, but it's for Catholics and non-Catholics alike. But if you grew up having to study the catechism, you will get this, and it's funny.
That's
It's
great.
good stuff.
And then before we when we end the 2017 year, before we get into 2018, you have Nat King Cole. It's an unforgettable Nat King Cole Christmas, another
Yes.
Christmas one.
I mean, how best do we know Nat King
Yeah,
Cole? You know,
yeah.
I mean, he delivered those songs in ways that just,
Yeah, Voice
they
of
are
an Angel.
unforgettable.
Yeah,
and
they
he,
are.
and the gentleman who plays it is also from Chicago. He's played
Evan Tyrone Martin.
Yes, terrific. I mean, he pulls off Nat King Cole to
Really?
a dime. I mean, he's impressive. So once again, it's with the live band, the stand-up bass player. I mean, it is really groovy stuff, and you will love it. You know, the nostalgia of just you will feel like once again you're sitting in front of Nat King Cole, hearing it first time.
So when you're putting together your season, obviously you did this one a while back. I mean, what is it that you're ultimately trying to go for besides the variety of it? Is it just like we just want to entertain, we just want laughs, we just want, I mean, you've been doing this for a long time, so what is
Yeah.
it that you really aim to go for?
Well, that's a good question. I think yes, we definitely want to entertain. It's a way to walk through our doors and just forget about your life for 90 minutes and transport yourself into something else where you can just let go and have a good time. And nostalgia is one of those pieces that we all kind of look back on life and go, remember when, you know? And we all have a piece of that. And this just sort of kind of kicks the tire a few different ways. But that's one way. But we also like to, there are a lot of great shows that come out of New York that are off-Broadway productions. And they have not been stopping in St. Louis because those productions require a small, intimate room. And, we have great theaters here in St. Louis, fabulous theaters, the Fabulous Fox, which, of course, does all the great Broadway stuff. But those are not the same setting that gives rise to the off-Broadway.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you a little secret that I've learned about Broadway is that the difference between Broadway and off-Broadway is one seat. So yeah, if you're in a theater that's 499 seats or less,
Oh, is that
you're
right?
considered off-Broadway.
I
And
was-
if you're 500 or more, you're Broadway.
That's it.
Really? It's one
learned something
seat?
new today.
I mean, I hate to be the guy who owns that
Yeah.
seat, but that's the only difference in New York.
Well, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to have more. We're going to continue with the 2017-18 season. You're seeing kind of the lineup that we just went through for the first half of the season, and then when we come back after break, we're going to pick up at a big one, Menopause the Musical. So we're going to have more with the Playhouse at Westport Plaza right after this. Please stay with us here on City Corner. Thank you. I'm Sarah Thompson, and welcome back to City Corner. The topic today is the Playhouse at Westport Plaza and the 2017-18 season, and I'm joined by Joel. What am I?
There is a Joel Emery, yes.
I'm joined by, that was like a throwback to something, but Paul Emery, of course, from Emery Entertainment. Thank you for being here. There's just all these things going on where I even said to you when you walked in studio, I'm like, I feel like I know you already. But you go way back too with your history in the entertainment industry here in St. Louis for how many years?
I moved here in '94 and went to work for Contemporary Productions that owned Riverport and produced in the old Playhouse Theater.
And many years you've been doing for entertainment. And I love what the season that you're with Emery Entertainment have put together for the 2017-18 season at the Playhouse. And let's kind of pick up where we left off. So we've got, right after Nat King Cole, we've got Oddville, and that's coming up in December.
Well, you know, there's that week between Christmas and New Year's that we all are looking for something to do besides go see a movie. And last year we brought in a show called Book of Moron that was done by Robert Dubeck.
Okay.
And this guy is a brilliant comic, and the shows that he writes are just, you know, amazingly done and thoughtful, witty, and it makes you think while it's still very funny. And he co-wrote this show called Oddville, and we decided we wanted to bring that back in for that week between Christmas and New Year's. Now, last year Book of Moron was selling out left and right. Yeah. It went over great. People loved it. And Robert's he's written this new show, and it's like, he calls it, the show is a cross between Blue Man Group and the 40-Year-Old Virgin. Now, if you can imagine that,
I don't know what
good luck. And if you can't, then you got to come see the show. Because Oddville's a perfect term for it, because you sit there and go, okay.
That's really,
It's out there. It's out, and it's the perfect show between Christmas and New Year's when you're looking for something wild and crazy to do.
Yeah. No, especially if you've got family in town.
Absolutely.
And another one that you're bringing back, this is always a popular one, Menopause the Musical. I mean, this is hugely popular.
It's a phenomenon, actually. And in St. Louis, it has a history of one of its longest running sit-down productions back in 2005.
Yeah.
So we brought it in last year thinking, 6 weeks would be enough, and it just sold out, and people wanted more and more and more, and we couldn't expand it in the calendar, so we said, well, let's just bring it back and continue where we left off because the demand was so huge. I guess, menopause is still happening.
Right.
Right?
Oh, it will always be happening, right?
Isn't that something?
But yes,
And now people are singing about it, so go figure. But yeah, it's a pretty fun, crazy, wild, and crazy show. And I thought it would just be for women only.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I sat through a number of shows when I saw it, and it's pretty darn entertaining. So, if you're not the one going through it, but maybe you know someone who is, like your wife or whatever, it's like if you go, it's easily as entertaining, and you're like, oh, I get it now.
Yeah, no, that's always one that's, I feel the same thing. You hear people all the time. I mean, it's a favorite of so many. We can kind of move back into your Artist Lounge series after that with Judy Garland, Come Rain or Come Shine.
Yes. This woman pulls off a Judy Garland like nobody's business.
Really?
She's amazing. And that wraps up our first year with the Artist Lounge Live Series. Once again, full band and the whole bit. But, these are great shows, and they're not just knockoff kind of shows. They're really nostalgic. You feel like you've been to see Judy Garland.
And I think I see you here in the notes, Angela, is it Ingersoll?
Yes.
It's her name, yeah.
Yes.
No, and I think, you've done it really, the way that you've curated this season, it kind of hits all the right areas, and I think you have tapped into, you don't really see a lot of these shows, in St. Louis. You don't.
Nothing like it anywhere.
Yeah.
It's the first time the Artist Lounge Live Series is, it's uniquely done, like I said, by Angela Ingersoll is the wife of Michael Ingersoll, who is putting all this together.
Really?
And I think he's done a brilliant job. He's got, and there's many, many more shows that we hope to bring in the following season. So it's the start of something I hope people are going to
really
love.
Picks up. No, I feel like you see a lot where people will do the hits of and it might be if it's a
Right.
jazz trio or something. But not a full
Many
production.
tribute bands are out there.
Yeah.
This is not a tribute
Yeah,
band show.
Yeah.
It's very unusual and rather hard to explain, kind of like Blue Man Group. When we used to produce that, I produced the Blue Man Group tour for 3 years, and people would say, "What do they do? And are they jugglers?
Yeah.
Are they clowns?" No, it's kind of hard to explain. You just got to come see it.
And when you're putting it together, I mean, how do you sort of like approach that? With it's something where how does the public, if it's not easy to understand, how do you sort of sell it?
Well, one of the brilliant things we have these days is click on the link and watch the video. So, you go to metrotix.com, and for all our shows, we have a sizzle reel video on that page that you can get a taste of it. That gives you the best, Reader's Digest snapshot of it. But, until you really experience it, it's one of those things where you don't be the guy left out, where people are saying, you should have seen it. It was great. Oh, it's gone now. Don't be that person. If you like to gamble on entertainment and try different things, and you can sit at home and watch TV all day long or DVR it and just come see our shows, because you can't DVR that, right? And
I feel like off-Broadway shows are really good, a way to kind of find that sort of that burst of entertainment that you were looking for but couldn't quite describe what you were looking for, but it's always satisfying after you see something.
Absolutely.
It's hard to describe it. It's like you just kind of have to go with the instinct that you will find some sort of level of satisfaction of seeing it in entertainment. I've always found that.
Absolutely.
At least. So after Judy Garland, we've got A Closer Walk with Patsy Cline. People here love Patsy Cline, another one.
They
doing
love
all
her,
the favorites,
They
right?
love her all over the country. I mean, she's iconic in that way. And this is not part of the Artist Lounge Live.
Okay.
This is part of our off-Broadway package. And it's a much different type of show. It's actually more performance as, Patsy Cline. But this is a tour it's the Canadian version of the Patsy Cline properties out there. We really like it. We think it's better than the other versions that are out there, but that's just personal opinion. You come and challenge me on it. Take a look at it. But if you're a Patsy Cline fan, it's a must-see.
That's really that's interesting. I hadn't even thought about that, the Canadian version of it. And we sort of end the season with an evening with C.S. Lewis in May of 2018.
We took a whole different turn there with old C.S. Lewis. It's like it got theological there for a moment. It did. If you're into the Chronicles of Narnia, if you know anything about C.S. Lewis's writings, The Witch, the Wardrobe, the Lion,
Witch, and the Wardrobe,
So obviously, I didn't write it.
Right.
But, C.S. Lewis was a terrific writer. He was a contemporary with J.R.R. Tolkien and Lord of the Rings. Those two were best friends, really, growing up and writing a lot together. But he's an interesting character, and the man who portrays him, it is very much like seeing life through C.S. Lewis's eyes. It's a terrific one-man show, but it's very provocative and interesting
Does it have a more sort of serious tone to it, or is
he was British, so his faith was a little different flavor than the American Christian flavor. But C.S. Lewis is very notable in America.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And so it's more of a serious. It's not I mean, it's comical if you like British humor, if you like Monty Python.
Yeah.
That's,
I thought you were about to, when I
religious.
was laughing earlier, I was like, oh, we're going to go into the British, the British stereotypes. But no, I think C.S. Lewis for sure. I mean, people love growing up to if you read.
Well,
read
and
his books
we're trying to provide all kinds of variety of entertainment at the Playhouse. But it's not always just pushing the envelope and the cutting edge naughty stuff, but it's it's nostalgic and it's thoughtful. Even the comedy that we bring in is very smart.
No, it seems like you've really given the full season. It's a lot. It's very comprehensive, but a lot of thought, a lot has gone into it. I do want to mention that you also, Emery Entertainment, you present at the Grandel. You have 2 shows at the Grandel.
We do.
Yeah.
And they're a little more untypical of the Playhouse, but we are bringing in the Naked Magicians.
Okay. Are they really naked?
They are. And the whole thing about them is they're real magicians, and they say we can't hide anything under our sleeves because we don't have any sleeves.
Right.
They don't have anything. So these are 2 guys from Australia that are great magicians. It's a terrific show. And This one, I have to warn you, it is a girls' night out kind of
Is
thing.
it?
Yeah, go figure. You know, they're pretty studly dudes, but you know, so yeah, that's one show we're bringing into the Grandel, and we're very excited about that. And we're also bringing in Evil Dead the musical in October for 2 weeks.
And tell me more about that one.
It is a mess. It's a hot mess.
Is
I
it?
mean, it's crazy fun. It's around Halloween, so it's taken off. If you know the classic movie Evil Dead, and it, you know, the first 5 rows are the splatter zone, so you go figure. It's messy, it's blood everywhere, and it's a wild, crazy time. And you know, it tours the country in 2 times of the year. One is around Halloween, and the other, believe it or not, is around Valentine's Day. I don't know. It seems like a date night show, or
Yeah.
but yeah, it's been playing in a number of cities for long runs. It's the first time to come to St. Louis, the touring piece, but
Gosh,
it's
this
at the
is-
Grandel. And we would have brought it to the Playhouse, but it wouldn't fit. So
Yeah.
the Grandel's been very, very gracious to have us in there and make it happen there, because it's a big production.
I mean, what an exciting season. I mean, do you and your colleagues, you just every day, you love your job, love going to work, love planning, you know, putting this all together?
They're like, no, not another show. You know, but we're having a good time. The Playhouse has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, and bringing a lot to St. Louis. Well, we've got the information there for you on the screen. It's the Playhouse at Westport Plaza, the 2017-18 season. I told you I was going to laugh a lot for this. I mean, this is wonderful. Jam-packed season of some really great entertainment, some great shows, both on the theatrical side as well as the musical side. And we've got it all lined up there. You can obviously go to the website. We've got the information on the next graphic to learn more about each play, each production, see the sizzle reel as you talked about. And for tickets, just go through metrotix.com. Websites there, as well as the phone number. And remind us the dates again for subscription and single tickets.
Subscription is on sale now, and it's always available, but single tickets go on sale August 19th.
Got it. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks
This
for
has
having
been
me.
great. I know.
I laughed too. I thought it was fun too. You were great, Sarah.
We'll have to do one, you know, for next season. You know, next season.
Come to
too.
Shottsville.
Yes, I will. I'm going to definitely come to one, at least one for sure.
We'll celebrate.
Thank you. Thanks again for being here, and thank you at home for watching City Corner. And please keep it right here on STL TV. Experience St. Louis.